Loudest one wins with Nathaniel and the three tips. Loudest one wins with Nathaniel and the three tips. Loudest one wins with Nathaniel and the three tips.
We're recording.
But, you know.
We're already recording. I didn't check if the audio's going or I didn't do any testing. Nah, I did. It's fine. I think it's good. We're gonna do that gag again.
All day.
How does my lighting look, Tim? I didn't get a chance.
I mean, it's better than before. Like before it was straight on, like, this is where you touched me type, witness stuff. But like now we can at least see your face. It's a very sepia tone.
Sepia. Yeah, I have one of those like desk lights that has like different like filters you can put over it. And I don't know, Amber picked these ones because I'm colorblind, so I have no clue. What looks good.
But it's just like interesting because it's like a definitely a stronger hue over you than it is your background, and so it doesn't. It's obviously not giving off like a screen filter vibe, but like you either look really healthy or kind of sick. It's kind of hard to choose.
That's funny.
It's either like you're glowing or like you might have jaundice.
It's funny. It's probably this one. Like that. Oh, that leans it more towards the sick if I take, because there's like two colors on here. I have no clue what the colors are. Going back to the colorblind thing, but
it probably like you're probably working a pretty solid tan these days too, right? Being out and about.
Yeah, because
like,
I walk to
work and stuff.
Yeah.
You were mostly work from home last summer, right?
Yeah. I was still teaching in person, but now like I'm walking like 4 miles every day to and from.
No, your tan is definitely in strength right now. So
yeah,
take that shit to the beach, man.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that like I'm wearing a t-shirt, so I got like, if this happens every year, I get like a gnarly farmer's tan. Like,
that's You're like, I have to. You just and that's the problem. It's not one day. You don't have to like sweat. It takes like 3 days of showing those shoulders and like everything that comes with that before it catches up. It's not like, oh, I'll go get like 30 minutes and it'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't think I've ever like not had a farmer's tan during the summer because like I always spend a lot of time outside and like I don't know, I go from like very extreme shades. Like I go from like white to like pretty dark in the summer, and then it's like, yeah, it's just like, it just looks crazy. It looks like I'm wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah. I mean, like tank tops. Like, what am I, 16?
Yeah, and even then you get like a weird one, like a weird tan line. Like I remember in high school, like when working with my dad doing like construction, sometimes I would wear like a tank top, or just like we had to wear like safety vests, because of like OSHA rules, and then I'd get like weird like safety vest tan lines. It's like there's no winning, because like who has time to like be at the beach enough to not get a farmer's tan if like that's how your like body's inclined to be. Like,
No, I'm thinking about just like throwing a towel in the yard and just like laying in it and doing some like shirtless sunbathing just to be like get that layer down, and then I don't have to be concerned about wearing a short sleeve or maybe even taking my shirt off somewhere.
Yeah, I've just accepted it. It's just how it is. It's like I'm gonna be two different people. Like I'll just have a permanent white t-shirt, because like walking so much to and from work, it's like I can't spend enough time shirtless or at the beach to where that's ever gonna even out. So I'm not even gonna try.
It's also like especially with you growing the facial hair out a little bit more, I see. Like it's also probably pretty good. Like if you ever get stopped by the cops, be like, oh no. It's okay.
Yeah, right. It's like, officer.
Well, that's just heritage. That's heritage. Look at this. That's America right there.
It's like we're the swarthy Germans.
Eastern European. Eastern. Yeah. Get the cops cooking their heels to that.
Mm-hmm. Let's get into some music stuff. Or I don't know. Do you want to talk about that AI job? I feel like that's kind of interesting too. I told you about that. I can't talk too much because I signed an NDA. I'm not going to break that. But are you interested in hearing about that?
Yeah.
Work
Absolutely.
I was doing. Yeah, so I started, and it'll bring us into another thing that we're going to talk about later. But so I signed up for this platform, Marecore. Have you heard of it?
No.
So it's like I got like it was I got this job from like an extremely like roundabout way. So like it was like through email. It was like some job sent me like a recruitment email like we think you'd be good for this, and it was like an AI like music training job, and it was through this platform Mercor. And basically Mercor is like it's kind of like an AI version of Indeed. So it's like it's a very AI heavy platform where like a lot of the jobs are training AI, and it's also just like automated where it's like you do like interviews with AI. Like I had an interview with like an AI, and like they have different assessments, and yeah, so it's like a very new agey AI thing. And funded by Peter Thiel, you know, and we're gonna get into that later. And that one didn't work out. So I applied to the job through Mercor. They reached out to me, and I didn't hear anything back from it. But I still had like I did my interview through there, and the AI like keeps it. And then there's other jobs you can apply for. And then I just got recruited through another one. They were like, "Oh, I think the AI somehow analyzes it. You know, maybe it can just tell like, oh, he speaks at a certain reading level." Because this one they recruited me for has nothing to do with music. It's like training AI on like visual stuff. I can't go in too much of it, and it's one of the very big AI companies, and it pays a ton of money. Like it's $70 an hour, and it's basically like you're training like AI prompts. It's like a prompt comes in, the AI generates these things, and then like you're grading them, and then you have to like type up paragraphs, and like they use that to train the AI. Yeah, it's interesting. It's cool work because it's like remote. There's pluses and minuses. It's pretty like mind numbing, and it's contract work, so it's not like kind of the nice thing about like regular jobs is like there's a lot of like BS time, where it's like, oh, I could like casually do this. No, this is like, you have this like 12 different prompts to review, and you're being timed, and like you're a contract worker, so if you don't do it really fast, then you're just like you don't even get a goodbye email. You're just like logged out of the system, that type of
right
thing. I don't know, it's interesting. I'm gonna try to lean into it, get more work like that.
Is it so you said it pays well per the hour, but you're pushed to do it? Like how much are you working on it per week, would you say?
Not a lot. I started off doing quite a bit. Problem is that it's also like sporadic. So it's like they have like I'm logged into the system, and they have like drops. And at first there wasn't a lot of people working on the project. There was like a few thousand, and there was a lot of work. And now there's like I think it's like 20,000 people working on the project. So it's like you have to be looking if like there's a drop of work to do, you snatch it before other people. But it's like I'm supposed to do like a minimum of 10 hours a week, and I can do like a maximum of 40, but even if I wanted to do 40, like I already have 2 other jobs, and I don't think there is enough work to do that, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
I'd really like to do
trouble?
more music related, I'm kind of just trying to do a good job on this one, and then like it's kind of like, I'm working for the bad guys, but if it pays good, it's like it would be at least be more interesting for me training like music AI models. Like if they type in a music prompt, and like I'd actually be good at that. I'm not super qualified for this, but I think it just takes a certain level of like general intelligence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's what most of using AI's. It's it's like working with I don't know, just like someone really experienced. You have to like coach it so much when you're giving it prompts, and so yeah, like training it to receive prompts and stuff. It really is. It's just like teaching a human how to interact and how to like receive things and give output.
Yeah.
It's like remember that? Do you remember the episode of Sunny where they go to the therapist? You remember that one?
Maybe. Yeah, I vaguely remember. I think I've seen that one.
The therapist is talking to Charlie, and she's like, you have these like ways about you, and you have set down, and you seem well mannered. And he's like, yeah, I got like I'm good, like I'm well mannered, I got traditions, and I should just like flow. She's like, you're hearing my words, but you're not quite getting, it's like,
Hmm.
that's how it is most of the time with it. So,
Yeah, and
yeah.
it's interesting because like I always hear like, oh, like the top AI models, like it's really good, it's better than you're getting, but like grading these, like this is like it's doing kind of complex tasks. Like I think I can say it's making PowerPoints,
Yeah.
which is more involved than just like a little prompt. It's making like visuals and like accurate information. Um, most of them are not very good. The AI is not good yet at making PowerPoints. So it's like I think we're pretty far off from the Terminator if it can't make decent PowerPoints yet. But I don't know. It's interesting. I have a feeling with how much money they're dropping. But I heard this was a thing with like the .com bubble. Like, are you familiar with that in like the early 2000s? How there's a big
Yeah.
like stock market bubble. Yeah, and like basically like, everyone was putting their money into these websites because it was a new thing, and they were saying like, oh, this is going to be the next big thing. You got to get in on it. This is going to change the world. And of course, people like way overshot it. The internet was the next big thing, but not to the extent that people were putting their money in. And I heard that was a thing with those companies that they were taking in so much money, and if you're taking in like investments, you can't just like hang on to it. You have to like show your investors like, oh yeah, we need this money. We can invest it in making a return on investment. So they would have to spend it. And they would like spend it on kind of like frivolous things and not be like super wise with their money. And this kind of feels like the same thing where it's like
Oh, yeah.
they just have like, billions, if not trillions of dollars, and they're just kind of like throwing it at like, we're just going to train the AI as fast as we can. We're going to hire tens of thousands of people, and that's just the project I'm on. So they're like, they're paying really good money to a lot of people to like train this AI because I don't know, maybe it's true that we're in some existential AI race with like Russia and China, but I don't know. I think it could also just be another .com bubble type thing.
I mean, the thing is, though, is like AI is totally blown out of proportion about what it fucking is, and that's why like there's no like Terminator concern or anything because it's not actually artificial intelligence.
Hmm.
It is just trained intelligence, which makes it. I mean, because it has such a breadth of understanding, and it's so hard to set context for it, right? It honestly makes it harder to train than a fucking human, and that's what
Hmm.
so many companies are realizing when they're axing their fucking workforce using AI. I mean, that's the thing about the .com bubble burst is like companies weren't hiring websites to replace their workers. That is happening now. The correlation between the two is that like, these AI companies and the .com like shit, like as opposed to traditional things that are traded on Wall Street, and stock exchanges, they don't actually produce anything,
Yeah, they don't
right?
have
Like
profits. Yeah.
right. It's all based off of like the middle, like how like TVs make profit, like fucking advertising and shit like that. Like whose money can you get into it? That's their fucking profits.
Yeah.
But because it's not true AI, now it's legitimately affecting businesses because people they have laid off so much of the workforce, turn to AI and realizing like this isn't a worker, it's a tool, and we still need the worker, which is what you're doing, but we still need the worker to use the tool. It's like contractors firing their workforce and buying a bunch more hammers. It
Hmm.
doesn't make the house get built faster.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess the idea is if you're doing it like smartly, it's kind of like automated like factory equipment too, like where instead of having 1,000 people at the GM plant, you can have 10 people who are more skilled at working these machines. I think that's the idea with it. Whether it gets implemented right is another question because AI is just so much more complex than like automated like machines where it's like this machine like it turns this one screw and it does that thing and it's not gonna like hallucinate or do something totally unexpected. So I don't know.
But I mean, the for like it did those machines that allow the or any factories like any of those automation machines do allow you to cut your workforce. but you still need workforce smarter than machines because issues can arise.
Mm-hmm.
And like so many of these things that AI, these jobs that like AI is overtaking, are all about essentially dealing with issues when they arise, you
Yeah.
know? And so that's, I mean, there's just a total misrepresentation about what it is and what it can do. And people are feeling that now. And I think there is going to be an AI bubble burst because of that, because AI does not actually produce profits. AI is just a fucking tool. And
Yeah.
it'll, all those people will lose their money and it'll reset where it should be and it will move on.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know, because I like watch videos of like people that are like insiders in it, and there's a lot of people that of course have a lot of money in this that say like, no, but like the models that consumers don't have are like very advanced, and some people are saying like, oh, they've reached general intelligence and stuff like that, but it's like, I don't know, maybe, but I don't know. There probably is more advanced models like maybe the government has or like the military, but I don't know.
I mean, I don't really see it like not on the level that corporations and shit and AI for sure. AI like companies want it to. It's not going to replace humanity because it just
No.
doesn't have that ability. And I can't remember who the I want to say the CEO of Rockstar or some dude associated with Rockstar was talking about how like you can't just use AI to like create new things because AI inherently is only based in historical data.
Right.
It
Right.
doesn't have the ability of forward thinking and creativity to actually produce something new. And that is what you see anytime you ask AI to do something beyond essentially a calculation or like a bit of research or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you ask AI to create, you're basically just rolling the fucking dice.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. We'll see. I'm skeptical, definitely, and especially with all the resources that it uses. Like, if you can lay off half your workforce, but then you also like are using so much electricity and you're reliant on these giant data centers that use crazy microchips and stuff like that. It's like I wonder how much money you're actually saving if you go through all of that.
Well, that's what a lot of companies are realizing. There's a lot of companies actually going back on AI because because of the amount of computation that's required to get AI to do some of the work that it's replacing people for costs more than what they're paying the people.
Mm-hmm.
Because it costs so much and that's being passed down to the consumer, the companies and stuff like that. And they're having to buy their AI credits and stuff like that. It's getting pushed real hard at my job.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm expecting any day for it to be like, well, I mean, ease off a little bit on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right, you want to get into some music stuff?
Yeah.
Enough AI talk. I guess I'll go through. I listened to those ones that you were talking about. I think maybe that was last episode or the one before. So what's
That
that
was the
guy's
last
name
one.
again? He was
The,
like a
the blues rocker.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Jared James Nichols. Does the podcast too. I can't.
Oh,
Is
he's
it?
the one. He has a podcast too. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. It was funny. I listened at first. Like I looked up. It was like whatever his first like music video was, and I was listening to it. And I was like, I don't. I'm not really into it. But then I started watching his live stuff, and I liked his live stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, his music seems overall fairly like hair metal-ish, blues rock. It doesn't really seem to be like breaking any ground, but he is definitely like a proficient guitarist. And I figured you'd like him too with like the finger picking he does.
Yeah, yeah. And I like it was funny because I thought like the studio stuff that I listened to. I thought it was too clean. It's like it recorded with the click, very very produced. But like when I hear that type of music, I want something that's kind of like raw.
Yeah.
It was cool though. Yeah, I watched some of his live stuff. I really liked that. And I kind of I think part of it is that I've got a bias too, where that's just how I've been feeling generally with my music is like I want to see musicians playing and I want to hear like it sounds like there's three guys in a room and they're just playing the songs. Like, I'm tired of hearing stuff that's like recorded to a click and has a million overdubs and everything's fixed. You know, I think I don't know. I've just, you know, the music industry was already going way too far in that, and then with AI music, like, I hear way too much like well polished shit to like to tolerate any of that. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, we're like Steve rolling back to fucking Sid Barrett and Tom Waits. Like, get goofy and weird with it.
It's funny you mentioned Tom Waits. So I listened to that new song. I felt the same way about the Tom Waits song. Like, it started off with like a cool, janky Tom Waits drum beat and him singing. I didn't like the Massive Attack stuff. Like, I wish it was just a solo Tom Waits thing.
Yeah,
and
it's a taste.
Yeah, because it's like, I don't know. I thought, because it was like a political song, so maybe they teamed up. Maybe they like they're friends and like they similar ideologies. That's why. But I don't know. When I hear Tom Waits, like, I wanted to hear that janky drum beat, you know, with like not to a click too. You know, I want to hear some guy just like banging on a trash can and maybe him and Tom Waits like speed up and slow down. You know, that's what I want from Tom Waits. I want him like him on the piano. Maybe he hits a couple wrong keys and he's playing with someone, you know, breaking bottles in the background or something.
Yeah. I mean, I've been holding out hope for a long time for another Tom Waits album. I think it's been 12 years since Bad As Me came out, and that was the last one. I get a feeling that he's basically done. Like, he pops up in a movie every now and again. So it was nice just to get a taste out of him. And
Yeah,
at least
it's cool
it
just
had
for
those
the thing.
vibes, right? Like, it wasn't all massive, you know, still had the Tom Waits vibes. But yeah, I mean, as far as the political, like, Bad As Me had some of that too. So like, that's definitely like he's solidly in his cranky old man phase, and
Yeah.
I'm supporting it. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it was nice to get a little taste of Tom again.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. Yeah, I liked his stuff. I wasn't a fan. I've never. It's Massive Attack. This was the band.
Or I don't know. Is that what you said?
I don't know. Whoever played with him. I can't remember. I think Massive Attack.
Yeah, it was. Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, I just looked. Yeah.
Because I've never
Oh,
heard.
and it's 2011 when Bad As Me came out. That's like 15 years.
It's a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that album, but like they sound like it sounded to me like, because I don't know their music. It sounded to me like
Yeah.
a Tom Waits song. There's a little bit more overproduced than I would like, and then like it almost sounded like Linkin Park in the background to me. Like
Yeah.
it was that vibe where it's like a fake piano and like fake strings, and it's like
Yeah, it was like synth heavy. Yeah.
yeah,
No,
it doesn't
it's
have.
definitely missing like a banjo and like an out of tune harmonica. However you could like make that happen, you know?
Yeah. I thought maybe they probably just are friends. Otherwise, I can't imagine how that combo
I mean,
came up.
are they friends? Like, I don't. Nah. Tom Waits old as fuck. Like, but I don't know. Maybe it's just like something came along. Who knows?
Yeah, I have no clue. It's cool. Yeah, I'm happy to hear from Tom Waits. Wasn't happy to hear from Massive Attack, but that's okay. Props to them for doing something with Tom Waits. Maybe they helped.
Yeah.
move
Yeah.
it along.
I mean, at least they got him out of the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
You
love
said
Tom.
you haven't been listening to anything else really new lately.
Not anything new. No, just the old tread. So
Yeah, I found so I just showed you two classical guitar composers that are modernish, like I think the what was his name? Jose something Oliva. I'm gonna have to look up the names. But they're
Julio
like,
Cesar Oliva.
yeah, Julio Cesar Oliva.
Yeah.
So he was born in like the 1950s, and he's still alive. So if he's still alive, that's like fairly modern for classical
Yeah.
guitar. And the other guy too, I think he's still alive. The same like late, born around like the 50s, still alive. And it's funny because like before I was like researching music, trying to find, I was looking through like, oh, what, like, you know, who won recent classical guitar competitions or like composition competitions, like who is like considered the best. And I was getting shit. Like, I was getting nothing that I like. And with these guys, it was just like I was listening to music that I like, and it was just like, you know, when you're on YouTube and like it just goes to the next video. It was like
Yeah.
that. It's like the algorithm just knows me, so they're like, oh, I know he hasn't heard these composers yet. And it just popped up on there. I was like, oh, this is really nice. And then I saw the names, like, oh, I've never heard of this guy before. So I looked him up, and I think they're not very well known. They don't even have like Wikipedia pages. They have like Naxos pages, which is like a classical music like distributor, you know.
They have like the classic, like original, like old internet web page. Yeah, he was to me. He was like, because I listened to him first. You sent him first, and then I listened to Alfonso Montez was the other guy, Montez or Montez, um, and I thought Julio was much more of that like classical, like I don't want to call it generic, but it was like, you know, just everything was like on point. Like the counterpoint was there, the building of the melody, and then how you like adapt that throughout. That one, I think I listened to about half of it, um, but like that one to me just like struck me as um, like just good old fashioned like classical music. Whereas like I felt like Alfonso Montez like I feel like there's like a little bit more there. There's like a little bit more touch. It felt like a little bit more romantic almost.
Yeah, his definitely more modern sounded. I listened to more of I already forgot his name. The first guy,
Julio. Just call him Julio.
Julio.
Me and Julio down by the train yard, schoolyard, whatever.
Julio. I liked his a lot. So I listened to that one. The one I sent you was like a guitar suite he wrote. I really liked it. 'Cause he's like, it's very like he has a lot of classic. He's from Mexico, but it's a lot of very classic, like it's throwback to like Spanish guitar music. There's a lot of those like idioms that he's kind of using there, but it's also there's interesting harmony too, though. He's doing some modern stuff that they weren't really doing in the like, at least like, early 1800s. There's some like more modern harmony in there, but it's all like very tasteful, and none of it's the stuff he's playing is like very virtuosic. Like I could play it. Yeah, I feel like Alfonso is the other guy.
Yeah, Alfonso Montes.
Yeah, he's from Argentina, and I only listened to that one piece of his. I want to dive into more of his, but it was more modern harmony sounding, like a lot of like very very colorful things in there, which I liked. But yeah, Julio, he's definitely a fan of like classic like Spanish guitar composers, which is cool.
Yeah, and I guess like I don't know, it might have just been the pieces that you said too, but it just seemed like Julio was much more playing the piece, whereas like Alfonso was more like feeling the piece, which is something I get more from like your playing, is that like you're not just playing the piece, but like each note is felt as you play it.
Yeah,
And
to
it
be
has,
fair
it has
for
a
them,
different vibe.
the recordings I sent, I don't think it was them playing it.
Oh, okay.
They
Yeah.
wrote the piece.
Well, I mean, the Alfonso one was, I think, him
The
playing it,
Alfonso
if I remember.
one. Well, yeah, I forgot. I
Yeah.
sent you a live one. The other one was just like the
Yeah.
sheet music going. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that wasn't him playing it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've been listening to it's whatever YouTube channel that is. Like, it's a cool channel because it like follows the music along with the sheet music, but his guitar tone is not great. It's definitely not like a super professional guy playing it.
Yeah.
But I like their music. It was definitely like reassuring to hear that. How much did you listen to of Japanese
Now,
guitars?
Yamashita,
Yeah, Yamashita. How much did you listen to?
I listened to about half of his. It was like I was like 15 minutes or so in.
Yeah, what do you think about it?
It was like much more elaborate electric, right? Like and then again, it just like it's different pieces that I think it doesn't say, but I think it's obviously like a full composition. He's like, yeah, he has the different movements that he's working through. It's obviously all one conception. That I got. There was a couple themes that came around a couple times, but just the style was like much more like erratic, much more like it had like elements of like atonal, and not so much like we've been talking about before, where it's like fucking unlistenable.
Mm-hmm.
But he got some elements in there that's just like if it was like Eddie Van Halen, you're like, that's showing off.
Yeah, so he didn't write that piece. So Yamashita was like, he's probably the best classical guitarist that ever lived. So that's actually a piece by Modest Mogorsky, who was like a Russian composer. And it's funny.
Okay, that's what that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like he was like late 1800s, kind of like late romantic composer. Um,
Okay.
and so yeah, Yamashita was the one where like he'd made the arrangement for it. He was like very known. He came onto the guitar scene and like that piece is called Pictures at an Exhibition. So you're right with it. It's like it's supposed to be like a storybook, and like whatever in Russian there's things like this part is like the castle and this is this, and it's like it's kind of like an auditory like picture book. That's the idea behind it.
Yeah.
And it's an orchestral piece. So it's like it's a piece that like no like sane person would ever think of like arranging for guitar. It's like if you play guitar, it's like you know the limitations of guitar, and you're like certain things like you just don't try. It's like you can't play that on
Yeah.
guitar.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like so
Yeah.
Yamashita came out. He arranged that when he was 16. He like no one really heard of him because like classical guitar was like a very European thing, and he came out like as a 16-year-old to like a guitar competition and played this piece he arranged for like himself, and it's just like ridiculous. Like you probably saw some of the stuff in there. It's like some of it's like I don't even know how it's possible. Like some of it, you look at his hand and it's like a blur. Like it doesn't even make sense. You know, there's like
Yeah.
some demonic something happening there. You know. But yeah, and that's the one. Like I think we talked about it last time, where it's like some people were like, "Oh, this is the best guitarist ever," and like some people like there was reviews of his performance that said like he's ruined guitar. Like you know, it's like this just ruins guitar for me, and it's funny because like you know I don't think he's alive anymore. You know, he's not like a modern guy, and like no one's really reached that. You know, there's like a couple people that have tried to play that piece, but it's like it's ridiculous. And the funny thing is like people were also mad because like he didn't go to like a conservatory or anything. Like his dad was a musician and his dad just taught him. So it's like all these people that like studied classical guitar their whole life and got a degree in it, and then there's just like this Japanese teenager comes out and he's just like not only better than everyone but just like significantly better than everyone. That was like people got mad about it, you know, and there's a lot of people that were like, oh, his tone's not good and like stuff like that, but like he's not just like a technician. He's like, you know, he's getting all different like tonal colors out of the guitar. Like he's like very expressive, you know. He's I don't know. That's cool. And it's funny, like I was gonna say
Go ahead.
before you go, the only other person that's like really as good as him is his sister. It's just funny, like his sister is also just like unhumanly good at guitar, and they would do like guitar duos, and it's like I don't know, somehow their dad taught them amazing, and they both ended up really good.
Well, they probably pushed each other, right?
Yeah, they do some duo works too that are really cool, and I think his daughter also plays, and she's amazing as well.
That's cool. Yeah, and I mean, I was just gonna say that like everybody is capable of getting hate, and even if like whatever you want to call the best or any, you know, titles like that are frivolous and meaningless. But like when you get to such an echelon, it doesn't matter. There's still going to be people who fucking hate it, and
Mm-hmm.
whether it's like jealousy or just a lack of understanding or a lack of openness, there's always somebody willing to throw some fucking shade. You know?
Yeah. I think with him is it's just like there's such a leap. Like most of the time I hear something really hard on guitar and it's like I could learn that. If I put enough hours into it, you know, I could figure it out. It's a question of am I going to devote the time to do it? You know, there's not really like in like other genres, like even like Yngwie Malmsteen and like who we consider, or not we, but who people consider like guitar
Yeah.
gods, like oh he's the best dude. It's like I give me a week off from work and I could do it. You know, I've taught high school guitar students how to play stuff, and even like modern like virtuoso bands. Like, do you know like Polyphia? It's just like a like guitar nerd band, you know, and like they're considered really good. But like I've had high school students like, you know, where it's like I've worked with them to learn their songs, but like I look at something like Yamashita and it's like I'm not sure. Like even if I had like a lot of like enough free time in the world, like man, I don't know if I could do that. You know, and I think that's part of what pisses people off about it is like because it's like you get that with like sports, like you know, you can look
Yeah.
at someone who's 7 feet tall in the NBA and it's like man, like I could practice as much as I want, but it's just like it's not physically possible. And like music, you don't get that a lot, because music, it's like, you know, unless you got like tiny hands, it's like I have the same equipment, you know, it's really just like a mental thing. How diligent are you enough to like practice? But then you get some people where it's like, I think I might just be missing something, you know, that I don't know if I could reach that level.
Yeah, I think there's some element too of like how early you're exposed to it. Like there really is, like, you know, once you reach a certain age, it's just so hard to learn new stuff. And you know, if you're starting from an early age, which, you know, it sounds like Key was, if his dad was
Yeah.
a, you know, it sounds like a Mozart type situation, right? Where it's like you can get the basics done so early that you have such a understanding and confidence while you're still so young and creative.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
for
I
sure.
would easily admit, like, my creative output versus 10 years ago is like trash. You know,
Hmm.
I've lost a lot of just like flow and edge and fire in my creativity for sure. It's definitely something that I have to like stoke more than I used to.
Yeah.
So if you're starting from like, you know, your teenage years and you're already a virtuoso master and you just now you get to have fun, yeah, you're going to rewrite stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because he never wrote any original stuff though, which is interesting. It's kind of a shame.
Like I said, he rewrites stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I just thought it was interesting because like he obviously is like he knows music well. Like he's taking orchestral pieces and arranging them for guitar. So like he has all the tools of like he's very familiar with composition. But I don't know. I always think that's interesting that he just never.
I feel like that is a really I feel like that's a really common thing though, for especially like traditionally trained musicians, is that like they're trained to play pieces, they're trained to play notes and stuff like that. But when it comes to like trying to pull something out of themselves, it doesn't feel as natural, you know.
Yeah.
I do feel like I see that a lot with people, with especially people. Like I feel like that's a trade off of like starting really early and being trained in a genre or in a style or something like that, versus like just kind of like learning and being like starting creating early. I feel like, you know, that's kind of a trade-off of like if you get to the point where you can like master these really hard pieces, you have to focus on that so much that you kind of trade off that like ability to just kind of turn your brain off and find things.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting because like I
It's not
know.
universal obviously, but
Yeah, yeah. Because I get it with like most classical musicians, because like a lot of classical musicians they learn how to like perform pieces that were already written. And he went the step further than that, where he's arranging pieces, which takes an even bigger skill set and takes creativity. Because like even if you can like he's doing things that no one else can, but it's like you still trying to condense like an orchestra into the guitar, you know. So there's like
it's still coming from a source material though, right? Like
yeah,
it's I mean, not to denigrate anything he's done, but it's for back like, but it's kind of like sampling, right? Like he's like taking a source material and taking what he like wants out of it. And he's
yeah,
I mean he's playing it, you know, it's not sampling, but like that's almost what that version of rearranging is you're like, I want this part of this section, you know.
yeah, yeah. It's an interesting thing. I wish he would have wrote his own stuff, but I don't know. Maybe it didn't. He didn't call out to him for some reason.
You know, for every person that we wish would have written their own stuff, there's plenty of people who write original stuff that we wish wouldn't. So
I know. Yeah. Yeah, and now we just have AI shitting out, and like just infinite
taking all that
amounts.
stuff we didn't want to hear and making more of that.
Maybe that's an idea. This would be an experiment for a future episode. Do prompt, write write a classical guitar piece as if Yamashita would have written his own piece. What would it sound like? And see what it spits out. Because I was listening, I was watching a YouTube video. Because like, are you familiar with Suno? Have you listened to any of like the songs that it comes up with?
No.
You should listen to it sometime. That'd be interesting to talk about. But like, the AI is getting really good at making music, just like straight up making whole songs, and like especially like pop music. Like, pop music is like pretty much it's gonna be dead now. Like AI can just shit out infinite pop songs that sound just like radio songs, basically. And I kind of thought that like it would like classical guitar would be kind of safe from it because I was like, oh, it can't get like the playing with the time and like the slides and stuff like that. But then I watched there's a guy that has a classical guitar YouTube video and he was making ones with Suno. It's like no, it can do that pretty good. Like it can make like a piece that it's still further off from pop songs. Like you can still tell it's AI, but like it's getting that like push and pull where it's like playing with the tempo and it's playing with dynamics and it's doing like slides and it's pretty expressive. It's kind of interesting. The AI music makers are really good. They're better than the PowerPoints, surprisingly. Maybe music's easier to make than PowerPoints, I guess.
Music's all math, so
Yeah.
that's the AI's language.
Yeah, I thought it would be harder for it to grasp like the really human elements, like like the expressiveness, but it does pretty good with it. But I don't know.
I think it depends on what you're looking for in expressiveness.
For me, the surprising part was like the tempo. Like all the AI music I heard before was like very clearly like to a click. Then I heard some of these classical guitar pieces where it's like very clearly not. It's like speeding up and slowing down to like add expressiveness, which I didn't think it would be able to do, honestly. But it can do it pretty well. Still not as good as like a top performer, but it's better than I thought it would be. And with like slides and stuff like that, really the guitar sound is not fully there. And there's certain stuff like especially with classical guitar where it's like the best people really play around the tones. Like they're very meticulous about like right hand position because like wherever you pluck the string is going to get a little different timbre.
Yeah.
AI can't really do that yet, I don't know. It's already pretty good. It probably will get there if like the whole AI thing doesn't collapse, if we don't go into World War III,
If
Yeah, if. I don't know. You have any more music things you want to go over?
no, it's just been a boring music life for me. So maybe more next time.
You wanna talk about the Peter Thiel thing, or you wanna go watch hockey?
We can hash it out quick. I don't have much to say on it. I think my opinion is things are pretty cut and dry on what's going on. But
Okay,
do you want to
so-
start with yours,
Yeah,
or do you want to start with mine?
I'll preface this for the listeners. So if you haven't heard, Peter Thiel, big billionaire, maybe trillionaire, kind of puppet master guy, writing my paychecks currently. He moved.
No, AI is.
Yeah. He moved his family to Argentina, which was like, it's pretty surprising because he's invested a lot into like shaping the culture of the U.S. Like he kind of like groomed J.D. Vance from like a very early age. He's been kind of funding him for like the past few decades to try to like prop him up to where he is now. And like even other people like influencers, like I heard like, have you ever heard of that new like Gen Z influencer Clavicular?
No.
Have you heard of like the new thing, like the looks maxing thing that the young kids are doing now? Or
No.
You haven't heard it? Okay.
No.
It's stupid. Maybe we can look into that at some point. But it's like a streamer guy that like apparently even him like it's rumored, but there's fairly good evidence that he's sponsoring like different streamers and different like personalities to try to like subtly shape culture, So he's got his hand in a lot of different things. Like even like there's like a UFO, like there's like an alien YouTube channel that I like a lot that he's also like secretly or not so secretly funding, So he's invested a lot in like not only businesses and like AI and like finance, but also just like cultural stuff in the US. And he packed up and said he just doesn't, he's not so sure about the future of the U.S. and just like kind of jumped ship, which is like a little worrying, Whether you agree with them or not is like, maybe I feel like part of it could be there could be like something, maybe there's something that like the general public doesn't know, but I don't know. I guess you go first. I want to hear why you think what you think is happening.
I think he just like So I read an article about how he made connections with the president, Javier Milei, and a bunch of members of administration and a bunch of his business friends down in Argentina. So I think he's just literally gone down there because he's found a government that he can buy.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, and that's even if there's more to it, that's definitely part of it, because like yeah, Javier.
I don't think he's
Milei-
jumping ship. I think he found somewhere sweeter. I think he found somewhere the grass is greener where you can have more freedom because he can buy it.
Yeah,
Because our constitution is stronger.
yeah, no, that's part of it. What worries me about Argentina specifically though is like, there's the whole like nuclear winter thing. It's like why a lot of billionaires like build their like bunkers and fallout shelters in the southern hemisphere is because like specifically because of like nuclear war. If like nuclear war breaks out, the whole like nuclear dust is going to cause nuclear winter in the northern hemisphere, and like it doesn't really cross the equator, so the southern hemisphere is pretty safe. So Argentina specifically it's kind of like known as like a nuclear war safe haven, which is like a little worrying.
There's I can't remember his name. Give me a second. No, I can't remember the dude's name, but he presented a great argument for this great bunker fetishizing that happens with billionaires and stuff. And like to be clear, like he takes his family, right? Bunker, nuclear fallout. So everything is just fine, right? Like, or is the rest of the world in chaos because of what happens? Probably chaos, right? So he probably wants some protection down there, right? Why would his protection work for him instead of just killing him and taking his bunker?
Yeah, no, that's a good point, and that probably would happen. But I think it's just the added layer that like even in like World War III nuclear scenario, like the predictions are that like it would be like below freezing in Texas during the summer. Like northern hemisphere is probably unlivable. Probably everyone dies in the northern hemisphere. That's the big thing. So it's like I think a lot of them it's like they probably are. There is that factor. Yeah, security might kill them. Maybe they're banking on AI robots. Like Elon Musk is building. He converted like a Tesla factory into building robots. So maybe they're looking at robot bodyguards. I don't know, but
I think they're just a bunch of fucking idiots pretending to be geniuses. So
yeah.
they have yet to prove me incorrect.
There's definitely a factor in there, and I think a lot of them like they're not. A lot of them are very smart, but like if you think you're smarter than you actually are, that could lead you to do some really really dumb stuff.
Yeah, I think they're just fucking toxic and they've poisoned themselves, and so
Yeah.
they don't think clearly.
Yeah, but I don't know. I thought it was interesting because I think he gave up on J.D. Vance. Like I think they were trying to push him to like run for president in the next election, and I think they're kind of just giving up on that. I think people just didn't take it. So I think another thing I think could be that just like he invested like a lot into like shaping politics in the U.S. and then like they probably like these are like very data centered people. They're probably looking at polls and stuff like that and seeing like oh, maybe like probably the Democrats are going to win like the next presidential election. He's just kind of like cutting his losses early, and he's like, okay, well, I'm just going to Argentina. I'm not going to stick around to find what happens.
It also makes it harder to subpoena, indict, and prosecute him for the illegal things he's certainly doing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So, and I'm pretty sure that the current administration in Argentina is libertarian, which is a beautiful word for conservative.
Yeah, it's like very. I think they have like super low taxes there. It's a big thing. He's saving money moving there. I don't know. It's interesting. I think in the long run too. I think the U.S. isn't going to be super stable. I know China's like official policy is kind of like we don't need to go to war with the U.S. because they're going to go into civil war. They're just all going to kill each other. Like China's definitely playing the waiting game. Probably Russia too, where they're just like, man, what are those guys doing over there? like they don't need to invade Taiwan, and risk going to war with the U.S. because like we're just gonna, I don't know. I don't see the U.S. going into a more stable situation and a more unified position, but I don't know. What do you think?
I don't even know what that fucking means, to be honest.
No.
No, like that everything that you just said just doesn't mean like, what does that mean? Stable. Like, what is stable? I mean, over the last like 5 years, has how much has your life actually been affected by what's going on in the world?
Yeah, not
Like, you
at
pay
all,
more for
really.
groceries, more for gas, but that's going to happen anyways. It's like, it's not like the corporations that have been looking for reasons. Especially ever since COVID, they have just been jacking the price up on everything, fucking regardless. That has nothing to do with what's going on in the world. Like,
Yeah.
everything's turned to shit because of a lack of accountability. And so it's either like we're either going to reach that level of accountability or things are just going to keep getting worse the way they are. But like, nothing's really going to change the way it hasn't.
Yeah. I guess that's kind of what I'm saying. That I think like that's how I kind of see it, and I think a lot of like the big players in the world are seeing that the U.S. is kind of like, we had our time as like top dogs, and like I think it's gonna continue to dive
Yeah.
down, and the world's gonna. I think the term they use like multipolar worlds. Like U.S. isn't like world police anymore. It's gonna be like it's different. It's gonna be kind of the whole structure of the world governance is gonna change, but I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, we haven't been world police anyways. Like, everything that we have injected ourselves into has not been with the intention of spreading democracy and peace. It's entirely been with seizing natural resources and
Yeah,
profiteering.
but I think that was the intent. I don't think most people buy the spreading democracy and peace thing, but it's still like not maybe the world police, but the world warlords. It's like, but I think
Oh, just
I think
fighting in
that.
Iran.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like I think that era itself is even dying off, where it's like the Iran conflict hasn't been super successful. It's like for the most of the time, like the U.S. has invaded whoever they wanted and like taken a bunch of shit, and like there's not really consequences to it. But the Iran thing kind of seems like a big blunder, where I think like the government they thought they could go in there and like quickly topple stuff like they did in Venezuela and take over the oil, and like I think Russia and China are kind of looking at situations and being like, oh, they're not as strong as like everyone thought they were, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think it's all just a big pissing match. It's all for show and everything, but in the end, it's just all about exchanging money. I don't believe that there's any nuclear war coming, because if there was a nuclear war, then people would stop making fucking money. And at the end of the day, all the people with their fingers on the buttons are looking at their wallets first.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. I don't know. I think the aliens would probably save us too.
Yeah. I think what's going to happen is like just shit gradually keeps getting shittier. We're already past the tipping point on saving not the Earth from global warming, because the Earth is going to be fine, but any chance that humanity surviving, more than like 10,000 years, like that's out the fucking window. So I think at this point we're just waiting for the point where everything floods, the Earth becomes toxic, and you know perhaps evolution brings along a new apex creature for this planet.
Yeah, it would be the time for the squid people.
Also, diseases, like we're really setting ourselves up to kill ourselves off with disease. So
Yeah, yeah, multiple. Maybe another one. We should talk about all the tick-borne diseases, but I don't know. We'll save that
oh
for
yeah,
another time.
you're scared about that beef one, aren't you?
Yeah.
I was more scared until I heard it was like it's just red meat. Like that's all it is.
I heard it was
But
animal products in general. I think it causes you to be allergic to dairy too, but I don't know.
maybe there's multiple, but the one that I read about recently was just red meat. They were just having reactions to beef and pork. But let's go ahead and do our research, so we could talk about your number one nightmare next time.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in the next one.
Because I was like, oh, I could still eat chicken. Okay, I could survive.
If you could do chicken, like if I could do chicken and still like dairy, I'd be
Yeah,
okay with.
fish, right? Like,
Yeah.
I could give up beef and pork, but if we're talking meat entirely, like I might just muscle through that skin rash.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that'd be rough. I don't know. I'll do some more research into it.
Yeah. So, next time.
Okay, let's end it here.
Yeah.